They say this place has been empty for decades, abandoned after the fire that claimed the lives of everyone who lived here. But some stories don't stay buried. Suddenly, there's a loud crash from within the house, a door slamming shut or glass shattering. The camera jerks slightly, mimicking the perspective of someone startled. For a brief moment, you see a shadowy figure dart past one of the upstairs windows. It's slightly ajar, groaning as if calling out to whoever dares approach. Cobwebs cover the edges and claw-like scratch marks mar its surface. What happened here wasn't just tragic, it was unnatural. And tonight, we're going inside. It began with a stumble, a misstep in reality. One moment, you were walking down a dimly lit hallway in your office building, and the next, you were falling. Not down, but sideways, as if gravity itself had shifted. Your stomach lurched, and your vision blurred. When you opened your eyes, you were no longer in the office. You were in the back rooms. The air was thick with the scent of damp carpet and stale wallpaper. The fluorescent lights buzzed incessantly, their flickering glow casting long, distorted shadows on the yellowed walls. The endless maze of identical rooms stretched out in every direction, a labyrinth of monotony that seemed to pulse with a life of its own. You called out, but your voice was swallowed by the oppressive silence. You were alone, or so you thought. The back rooms, a descent into madness. The first encounter, you wandered for what felt like hours, though time seemed to have no meaning here. The rooms never changed. Same yellow wallpaper, same damp carpet, same buzzing lights. But then you heard it, a faint shuffling sound, like something dragging itself across the floor. Your heart raced as you turned a corner, and there it was. A figure hunched and grotesque lurched toward you. Its limbs were too long, its movements jerky and unnatural. Its face was a blur, as if your mind refused to process what it was seeing. You froze, your breath caught in your throat. The thing tilted its head, and for a moment it seemed to study you. Then it lunged. You ran, your feet pounding against the carpet as the thing's guttural growls echoed behind you. You didn't dare look back. You turned corner after corner, but the thing was always there, always just out of sight. Finally, you found a door, a real door, not just another opening into another identical room. You slammed it shut behind you and leaned against it, gasping for air. The whispering walls. The room you found yourself in was different. The walls were a darker shade of yellow, and the air was colder. The buzzing of the lights was replaced by a low, rhythmic hum, like a distant heartbeat. And then you heard the whispers. At first they were faint, almost imperceptible, but as you listened, they grew louder, more insistent. They weren't coming from any one direction, they were coming from the walls themselves. The voices were fragmented, disjointed, as if they were pieced together from the memories of countless lost souls. Some begged for help, others screamed in agony, and some simply repeated the same phrase over and over. You'll never leave. You pressed your hands to your ears, but the whispers seeped into your mind, filling your thoughts with their despair. You had to get out. You stumbled to the far side of the room and found another door. As you opened it, the whispers stopped abruptly, leaving you in silence once more. Faceless watchers. The next level was worse. The walls were darker, the air thicker. The rooms were larger, but they were filled with furniture, old rotting couches and chairs that looked like they hadn't been touched in decades. And then you saw them, figures standing in the corners of the rooms. They were humanoid, but their faces were smooth and featureless, like mannequins. They didn't move, but you could feel their gaze on you, watching your every step. You tried to avoid them, but no matter where you went, they were always there, always watching. One of them twitched. Just a slight movement, but it was enough to send a jolt of terror through you. You backed away, but another one moved, its head tilting unnaturally to the side. Then another and another. They were coming to life. You ran, the sound of their shuffling footsteps close behind. You didn't stop until you found a staircase leading down. The final descent. The lower level was pitch black. The only light came from a single flickering bulb hanging from the ceiling. The air was cold and the silence was deafening. You could feel something in the darkness, something ancient and malevolent. It wasn't just watching you, it was waiting. You moved cautiously, your footsteps echoing in the void. The bulb flickered, and for a moment you saw it. A massive, shapeless mass of darkness, pulsating with a sickening energy. It reached out for you, tendrils of shadow stretching toward your trembling form. You turned to run, but the staircase was gone. There was no way out. The whispers returned, louder than ever, drowning out your screams. The faceless watchers emerged from the darkness, their smooth faces reflecting the flickering light. The thing in the shadows enveloped you, its cold tendrils wrapping around your body, your mind, your soul. The haunting conclusion. You wake up, or at least you think you do. You're back in the yellow rooms, the buzzing lights flickering overhead. But something is different. The walls are closer, the air heavier. The whispers are still there, but now they're coming from inside your head. You look down at your hands and they're wrong. Too long, too pale. You catch a glimpse of your reflection in a cracked mirror, and your face is smooth, featureless. You're not alone anymore. You're one of them. And as you wander the endless maze, you realize the truth. You never left. You never will. The back rooms have claimed you, just as they've claimed so many others. And somewhere in the darkness, the thing waits, ready to welcome the next lost soul into its eternal embrace. The end. Or is it just the beginning?